For the first time since 1998, the Red River Showdown is being hosted by two unranked teams. Both teams are in rebuilding years. Of course, we're talking about Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma with first-year head coach Brett Venables, and Texas in their second year with Sarkisian. Of course, it feels like Texas has been in a rebuild year or rebuild phase for 6, 7, 8, 10+ years now. But this is new for Oklahoma. But either way, this is always a huge game for both of these teams. And, usually we'll tell you who's going to win the Big 12 in times past. But getting into this game, Drew, of course, Oklahoma's coming off two blowout losses or, two losses where they've given up 40 or more points. What's wrong with this Oklahoma team?
Yeah, I mean, the defense, especially last week against TCU, absolutely unacceptable. There is no other word. That's me putting it politely. 668 yards given up to TCU. I mean, I don't know if I've seen anything like that in a very long time. I mean, and it's not even the fact that alone is bad enough, but to have Brent Venables come in and be a defensive-minded guy, I know he's only been there a year. He hasn't been able to get all his players in, but you would at least think there would be some improvement along the Oklahoma defense, but that just hasn't seemed to be the case. I know talent's kind of playing a role there, but there is no excuse for coming into a team like Oklahoma, a prestige program who's made multiple playoff appearances and Big 12 title championships, giving up 668 yards. Not acceptable. As far as the offense goes, I mean, really, really struggled last week. Dylan Gabriel, he did go down too. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be coming back in this game either. Haven't really been many reports on it. But he did not play a great game. Oklahoma was just completely whipped on both sides of the ball by TCU last week. Whatever they did in that game, if they come out and do any resemblance of that in this Texas game, Texas is going to do relatively the same thing, especially on the ground. Oklahoma's 111th in yards given up on the ground. Bijan Robinson obviously is one of the best running backs in college football. They're gonna have to find ways to make some stops and get aggressive here, because there is no way they can play like they did last week. Bijan Robinson could have a career day for over 200 rushing yards in this game. But going on to Texas, their offense, big reports of Quinn Ewers potentially expecting to return to this game. And now it's not confirmed yet if he's coming back for sure, but everyone seems to be pretty optimistic that he is coming back, and a lot of people are saying that this is the week Quinn Ewers comes back. So, Aiden, with that being said, Quinn Ewers being back in this Texas offense, what do you think that's going to do for this Texas team offensively?
Oh, it's going to be a complete 180. I mean, you have Sarkisian at the helm calling the plays, and we know he's an offensive genius and a genius as a play caller. The talent that Texas has at receiver and at running back, they love to test the defense vertically. And Quinn Ewers has that cannon. We saw it in the Alabama game where he will take the top off of defense. And, like you mentioned, when you got a defense as soft as Oklahoma, everything's going to be open for this Texas offense. Oklahoma's defense gave up over 330 yards rushing against TCU. It's going to be a similar thing with against this Texas team. This Texas offense, they're high-powered, and with Quinn Ewers, it's going to be a motivational thing too. Like the Texas offense, they're getting their leader back. Their linemen are going to be getting downfield faster and blocking harder. The receivers are going to be playing harder. It's going to have a major positive impact on the whole team. So I think that it's going to be a huge momentum shift, and it's going to, lead into a dominant victory for this Texas team.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. When Quinn Ewers was playing against Alabama, it seemed like Texas the offense as a whole just looked a lot more confident in what they were doing. Obviously, they were, they didn't put the ball in the end zone relatively a ton, even when Quinn Ewers was in the game, but he was getting them down the field and putting them in position to score. And, against a really good Alabama defense. So you look at this Oklahoma defense, not even at the same ballpark as an Alabama. I mean, you can't even use those two teams in the same sentence together when you're talking about defense. I mean, you're talking about an Oklahoma team, like I said, 111th in yards given up on the ground, 60th in passing yards given up. I mean, there is no way that I think Texas should struggle offensively, especially with Quinn Ewers coming back. Now, one thing to kind of keep in mind, and this is one of those rivalries that's been kind of lopsided over the past 10 years. Oklahoma's won 7 out of the last 10, and I've won the last 4. So it's one of those deals where regardless of the talent difference on each side, it's kind of one of those rivalries where one team has been dominating the series for so long that even if they are not as good as the other team, they still are going to – that's still just going to be in the head of Texas, I think. Oklahoma's just had their number for so long.
Yeah, I think in a rivalry like this, that does play a factor. But I think also with this new Texas coaching staff that they're making a change culturally, and they're not looking in the past. And that Alabama game, I think, was really telling for what's to come for this Texas team. Now, they did drop a game against Texas Tech this year. But defensively, they did a good job against Texas Tech, forcing third down or getting them on the fourth downs. But Texas Tech was converting, and also fumbles and special teams mishaps. Texas handed Texas Tech that game, and that's not going to happen again. This Oklahoma defense is really bad. The mistakes that you see are not going to be fixed in 1 week. On the other hand, for Texas's defense, I think they play fast, they rally to the football, which it's always just an effort thing. You can make mistakes on defense, but effort can still make the play for you. And I think that's the case with this Texas defense. I think that the team as a whole thinks that they're on the right track, so that's going to improve the defense. Getting into my pick, though, I've kind of alluded to it throughout the video, but I think that this Texas offense ran by Sarkisian with Quinn Ewers coming back and the weapons that they have on offense is going to be way too much for this Oklahoma defense. This Oklahoma offense, on the other hand, they've been sputtering, and they didn't look so good against TCU, and they haven't looked so good this season. They've been getting down into the red zone, but they haven't been able to put 7 points on the board. And don't let the scoreboard fool you with this. As far as this Texas defense goes, they play hard, like I just said. So I'm going to take Texas to cover. I think they're going to win pretty big.
Yeah, Texas definitely is way ahead of Oklahoma when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. And like I mentioned earlier, Oklahoma, Dillon Gabriel might not even be playing in this game. I don't know much about the Oklahoma backups, but I mean, that's going to be a tough situation to put these backups in. So getting into my pick, Texas 7.5 favorites. The line, I want to say it started at 4.5 for Texas and has moved all the way up to 7. A lot of people are hammering Texas to cover in this game, and rightfully so. I mean, you look at this Oklahoma team, a team that lost to Kansas State and TCU in back-to-back weeks. I mean, the confidence is shot. You would have to think there's maybe some turmoil, maybe going to the locker room now after Oklahoma's been so successful in years past, and now here comes a new head coach, and they've struggled a little bit. So you kind of don't know what the motivation factor is for this Oklahoma team now. Texas still could be a really big win for them. I don't think Texas is out of the Big 12 race by any means. They only have one conference loss, obviously, to Texas Tech. So with that being said, I think Texas is going to be more motivated in this game. I think Bijan Robinson's going to have a career day, and Quinn Ewers being back is going to give this offense a whole new dimension again. I just don't see any scenario where I think Oklahoma can pull it off in this one. I think Texas gets the win here, and they're going to cover the 7 points, I think, pretty comfortably. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video, guys. As always, let us know down below in the comment section with whether you agree or disagree with our picks and what you think the game could look like based on what you guys have seen. Please leave a thumbs up on the video. Helps us out tremendously. You guys have done a great job of doing that and helping us out a lot. Also, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know every time we post a video. And that's going to be it, guys. See you in the next one.